Hello and welcome to France 24's A Music Show. I'm Marjorie Hash, and my guest this week was born in Mozambique before moving to Portugal. He started making music in the 1980s with psychobilly band Tidio Boys before moving into various blues outfits. Now, the early 2000s saw the birth of his solo project, the Legendary Tigerman, which was initially a one-man band. Now, he's since gone on to work with various artists, ranging from Jarvis Cocker to Peaches, and this September he'll be releasing his 8th studio album. Paulo Furtado, thank you very much for joining us. You are the Legendary Tigerman.
Hi, Marjorie. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Now, you're gearing up to release this new album that was composed in the pre-COVID era, and actually you were in Paris when you were writing it. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, I was having a residence at Le Quatre, supposedly to create a new sound, and also to create an installation for a show at Le Quatre. But in the end, I got out of there with a new album, and also with a new sound, because it was the first time I was using modular synthesizers to write songs, and that was very, very exciting, and it was a huge growth in my way of writing songs.
Yeah. How did it change? What was the synthesizer sound? How did it impact your songwriting?
Well, it's very cool to write songs and be able to dance at the same time, which normally you can't do if you're writing a song on the guitar. So with the synthesizers, you kind of feel the groove and feel the songs and kind of improvise over it. So it was very different. Sometimes I was not playing; I had just the loops going on and experimenting different stuff over it. So it was really, really different. And also I felt this need to really try to make this exercise of doing rock and roll, creating rock and roll songs without immediately using the guitars. So that was, my first goal, I guess.
Were there any other things about Paris that infused this album composition? Obviously, the 104 being a nice creative space, but were other parts of the cities impactful?
Yeah. For me, living for that long in Paris for the first time was really impacting, because I was going out to shows and going out at night and really living the city, I think it really got into the lyrics, and it really got into the album, and it's mostly about my experience of being alone here for that long.
Oh, well, how about we check out one of the tracks which features an Italian actress and filmmaker you may recognize. Good Girl, a track taken from the Legendary Tigerman's forthcoming album Zeitgeist. Tell us a little bit more about your collaboration with Asia Argento. It's not the first time you've worked with her. How did you get to start working together?
Yeah, we've met in 2008, I guess, and I was writing a short film in which she was going to feature, and that in the end kind of evolved to the album called Femina, and she was my first guest for that album, and that's how we met. And Asia is an amazing actress, but also I think when we started talking, we realized we really loved a lot of music and a lot of bands that we both loved and had in common. So she's very musical too, so it's really a great collaboration.
No, absolutely. She's not also the only woman that's on this new album that's coming out. You've also got Teresa Castro, Sarah Rebecca, Frances Jenny Beth, just to name but a few. Do you prefer working with women, or does it change when you work with women compared to men? Is there a difference, would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a fluidity that normally happens when I'm working with women, and also for me it works mostly because vocally the reach kind. I'm a huge fan of collaborations and kind of duets without being, you know, if they are real duets when people kind of merge their art together, and for me, in the Femina album, which was kind of a duets album, it was when I really experimented about it in that matter. So actually, I think it's something that really flows with me.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Being an artist from Portugal, yeah, we were saying this earlier in the show, you were born in Mozambique. Do you ever feel ties still to that country, your birthplace at all?
Yeah, I went back just once, and I was expecting, you know, like an epiphany of, this is where I was born. And to be honest, I feel kind of at home in Africa. There's something I came very early to Portugal. I was 2.5 years, so I don't really have a memory, but I kind of have a feeling of you know, like the smells and the colors kind of, you know, kind of make me feel at home. That was mostly it.
Yeah, the connection was still there somehow.
Yeah, some kind of feeling, but not very clear.
No, I was wondering as well, because, you know, your album that's coming out in September, you actually wrote just before COVID, so it's like a long birthing process. I imagine you've already started working on other projects, or are you still fully in the moment with this record?
Right now, I'm really focused on the release. I was doing until like. A few months I was still working on a theater play, on a Gus Van Sant musical called Trouble that was in Paris a few months ago. So it kind of it stopped, like, I think last show was in Toulouse like a month ago. Yeah. So now I'm really focused on the release of the album.
So hopefully we'll have you back for a little tour at some point.
Yes, probably next year, yes.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. How about we check out some other music news, and we're going to start off with Californian rockers Queens of the Stone Age, who are back with their 8th studio album, In Times New Roman. Yes, that is a wordplay on the famous font. Singer-guitarist Josh Homme has said that this was written off the back of a difficult period featuring, amongst others, a complicated divorce and cancer treatment. Let's check out their latest single, Paper Machete. Taken from the new Queens of the Stone Age album. And now, Paulo, are you a fan of the Queens of Stone Age? What's your view on them?
Yeah, I love the sound very much. This new song was sounding a lot like Bowie, actually, no?
Yeah, and the voice
it's
a little
cool.
bit, it's true. He said it was like composed off the back of a very complicated time. Do you find that when you're going through difficult times that helps you, or does it hinder your music writing?
Yeah, honestly, I think this happens to a lot of artists too, but yeah, I think difficult times can be very inspiring.
Yeah,
yes.
Later on, maybe down the line, or sometimes in the midst of it, you never know. I'm going to move on now to another summer-fueled album that is out this week. It's the new Portugal the Man, and they are not actually from Portugal, but from the United States and Alaska in particular. Their new album is called Chris Black Changed My Life, and it is dedicated to a friend of the band who died in 2019 and is now their honorary member. It's full of tributes to The Cure, like this track, Dummy. Any other instruments, because you've used synth to compose your last album, any other instruments you'd like to play along with for maybe the next composition? Or are you going to go back to the bluesy guitar?
I think I'm gonna explore more of the world of the modular synthesizers for a while, and also there's a lot of orchestrations in the new album, so that will possibly be another way, and for a few years I wanted to do kind of a kind of acoustic album or more acoustic, so I could go in that direction, something mixing modular synthesizers and acoustic guitar.
Ah, the world is your oyster. Well, thank you so much to the legendary Tigerman, aka Paulo Furtado, for being here with us on the show. Remember to check out his album that's coming out in September called Zeitgeist. We're going to round up the show because the France 24 News Bulletin is coming up in just a few minutes. I'll remind you to follow our culture news on France24.com and, of course, our social media. And we're going to play out with a little touch on the music festival season, which is upon us. And we're going to talk about the French festival Solidays that's been around since 1999 and whose aim is to create awareness around AIDS and HIV. The event attracts NGOs from across the world, but also some of the biggest music stars. Let's take a look.